I wanted to get into like what helps like your current aesthetic online. Like what inspires you to post online?
What inspires me? I get inspired by a lot of different stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of it is just what I happen to resonate with, what I think is cool. Um, I think right now a big kind of like underlying aesthetic um, theme, I guess you could say, would be like the Gen X soft club. I think like
Yeah.
all those blues and kind of that atmospheric sort of liminal vibe, which I've always gravitated towards that liminal vibe as well. I think that's something that I think is really powerful. It's kind of like gives a really powerful feeling. Not like the scary type of liminal, like there's that new like A24 horror movie coming out, which I'm pretty excited to see. But that's like more like scary liminal. I'm trying to do like reflective liminal space type stuff, like where it kind of makes you think, it makes you sit and wonder, and maybe you're a little nostalgic about it. That's definitely a big inspiration for what I do. I don't know if what I do is like minimalist at all, but at least with the music, I like to kind of try and keep things minimal. And then with the visual aesthetic, I think minimalism is very cool as well. When you strip things back to their core elements and just share those, instead of making it like super busy. Although some of the stuff that I've done, like visually, has been kind of busy, but yeah, like I'm definitely leaning into more like um, older aesthetics, aesthetics that I connected to as like a kid, and that I still find to be like really intriguing today. Like I think nostalgia is a really powerful emotion. It's like something I love to experience, and so I definitely weave a lot of nostalgia into the visual and like audio.
Yeah, no,
Um,
100%. I totally see it. I mean, like I feel like there's a lot of like that Y2K influence that kind of incorporates into your brand, which like I mean it's in the name like boy2000. So like there's like a lot of like I see a lot of like blue, like that very like light blue that I see that's associated with that Y2K aesthetic, like that PlayStation 2 reflective like nostalgic vibe. I see it like all the time. So it's like is that a good reflection of how you feel like creatively like right now? Or is it kind of something that you kind of built like intentionally with your brand?
I think it's definitely. I feel like Boy 2000 is definitely something that I've like constructed. It's something that I'm very intentional about, and I honestly feel like Boy 2000 is kind of like a character. Like I am who I am. I'm Grant. I'm just a regular dude. But um, when I work on Boy 2000, it is to me like almost like a work of fiction. Like it is there's like a whole world behind it in my head, and boy 2000 is a character in the world, and I think the music is like the backdrop to that. So I think that helps like put people in a certain headspace when they're listening to the music. And as far as like all the callbacks to like the 2000s and all that stuff, the name like boy 2000, I think it's actually kind of a coincidence that that kind of aligns with the whole Y2K aesthetic thing. I think they fit well together, but honestly the name just sounded cool to me, and I think a lot of people think it's because I was born in 2000. I actually wasn't even born in 2000. um, I was born in 2001.
Yeah.
So a lot of people assume that just based on the name, but I thought it sounded cool, and um, I thought it kind of conveyed the exact vibe I was trying to go for. Like it's kind of futuristic, it's a little mysterious. Like what does it really mean? And I think it sounds interesting, and ultimately, I really like the name. But it's definitely kind of like a music persona or like a character, and there's definitely a world around that. I think you could compare it to like a virtual band,
Mhm.
like Gorillas or something. You know what I mean? Like they're characters, but also it's Damon Albarn making all the music behind that. That's kind of how I think of it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Like again, like it's very much intentional. Like there's like a lot of I see it a lot in like the electronic scene where people create like this secondary character to represent the music that they make, if that makes sense. It's like an OC kind of. You know what I mean? Like kind of like that. It's like super popular. I notice it all the time.
Well, and like I grew up like being a huge Daft Punk fan, and that whole
Mhm.
project for them was like a giant performance art.
Mhm.
Like they put on the robot helmets and they were robots
Yeah, no,
in
Daft Punk is
every
the best EDM
interaction.
group ever.
Yeah, so, like, of course, that's kind of part of it too. Like, I think when I'm up on stage, like performing as like boy2000, it's almost like kind of a performance, you know? It's not real like I'd love to have some kind of visual element that can like signify that. We've talked about like, what if I got like a robot arm or something, you know, like some kind of low key, like we've been like reaching out to like people on Etsy, like people that work on like cosplay, um, you know, and getting some kind of robot arm for me or something like that. Just something to like kind of differentiate and communicate that it's kind of a performance, it's kind of a character, you know?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Like like mentioning Daft Punk's with the helmets. You know what I mean? Like robot arm, something like that. Like Dead Mouse with the helmet too. He's got like the little ears. Like everybody, I feel like has like some sort of thing going on, like an OC. But speaking of which, who do you believe are like the biggest inspirations to your sound currently?
Um, so like sonically, I would there's a ton. Like there's so many. I couldn't even list them all, but like I'm always finding new stuff that I think is really inspiring, like sonically. But I don't just take inspiration from music. Like I do take inspiration from like all over the place. But like with music, it's definitely like I would say vegan is a pretty big influence on my sound. Um, he's just one of those producers that I really look up to, and I got the chance to meet him when I was in LA, and he's a really cool, like genuine person. He gave me a lot of really good advice. It was just me and him and my mom in the green room after the show, so we talked for like 30 minutes. He's such a cool dude, and I've been like really loving his music for a long time now. So Vegan, and Vegan also worked on Blonde, which is one of my favorite albums of all time, you know, Frank Ocean. And I do take a lot of inspiration from that album as well, how it kind of feels like cold, you know, but it's not like cold in a bad way. I don't know. Are you like a Frank Ocean fan?
Yeah, I mean, I know Blonde, I know Channel Orange, like all of those. Like, I used to listen to that like a lot. Like, I think I'd say like early high school. Like
Yeah.
that was like what I used to listen to at the time.
So then you know what I'm saying? Like with
Yeah,
Blonde, it sounds like really
it's
cold
it's
and
very
sparse.
cold. It's like very sad. Like the whole album is very sad, but it's very like good. Like you can
Yeah.
tell like there's like real pain behind that album.
Mhm.
Like I feel like with a lot of albums, it feels like corporate slop, especially like in that specific like scene of music. But Blonde specifically, it's like wow, like this is like there's just some about that. Like I feel like there's just so much like going on in the background that like it's hard to recreate something like that.
Yeah. So I definitely like that is a masterpiece. Vegan had a hand in producing that, you know, so there is the vegan, you know, like energy in there for sure, but it is like something I think about a lot, honestly, and I still listen to it all the time. I know it's like one of the most popular albums of all time, but I think it is for a reason.
Mm.
So definitely like Blonde is a huge inspiration. I grew up loving Daft Punk. I've always loved electronic music. Like that was the first thing I was really obsessed with as a kid. And so like huge inspiration there. We have a music video actually that's being animated right now, and it has a lot of like homage to the Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger music video.
Hmm.
So I'm pretty excited about that. I think, but other artists though, other artists, I'm really into OK Lou and her sound design and songwriting. I respect it so much, and some of my favorite songs ever, and also KCMQ because they're like a dynamic duo. Deaton Chris Anthony, I remember I was really into his stuff when I was starting boy2000, and he's actually from Kansas as well. So I was like, oh, nice, you know, like it's always cool to find other people from Kansas that like you wouldn't expect would be from Kansas. Um, but yeah, DJ Seinfeld, Baltra, Yabujin is like I love Yabujin's like commitment to making things sound like from the era, you know? I don't know if you're familiar with Yabujin,
No,
but
Yabujin is a dude. I love his. He's so like he's got a very specific persona.
mhm,
I feel like a lot of this like new hard style stuff would not exist without him. Because like he
yeah.
kind of started that like hard style like reverbed out like style of like videos and stuff. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's just super esoteric for lack of a better
Yeah.
term, you know?
It literally sounds like you're listening to like something on like an Adobe Flash game, you know what I mean? Which is
Yeah.
perfect. Which I
No,
just think is so cool.
no,
Personally,
Yabujin's a
I
goat.
I really love that. And
Yeah.
then Also, there's like a film composer, Piero Piccioni. He's one of my favorites. I'll always kind of just throw on his different film scores, and that's pretty inspiring for me too. But yeah, I don't know. That's probably summing up most of the sonic inspirations for me.
Hmm. So yeah, I feel like a lot of the artists that I talk to, like whenever I ask them questions like this, they're like, yeah, like I'm inspired by X, Y, and Z. It's usually people in the same scene or like usually like EDM goats or something, you know? So it's like, okay, like these guys are just like they're so like locked in, you know, like on like the specific sound that they've developed for basically decades at this point, especially like Daft Punk or Deadmau5 or whoever the hell inspired these people. And it's just like it's like so cool to see like this like new scene like emerge from like it's like basically it's like a reborn version of like the old like 2000 scene, which is super fun to watch in real time.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's pretty exciting. There's a lot of really cool music that I think was inspired by that era coming out.
Hmm. So when you start a song, do you normally start with like your drums, your melody, your bass? Like what is like your normal starting here?
It's okay. So I mean, it's always different. There's always some other weird starting point for every song, but I would say generally, like typical day producing, I always start with the melodic elements first. I usually, honestly, I might work on a song for like literal days and not have any drums in it yet. You know, I'll just kind of like feel out the vibe atmospherically first, and then so like all the melodic stuff, pads. I always start with a pad. It's like always chord progression with wavetable in Ableton, you know, and I'll just kind of start with that. Usually I'll do like a sine wave with like a chorus effect or something, just straight up doing chords. And I'll just do the chord changes for a while, and then I'll try and add like maybe a couple more melodic elements on top of that, and then I'll get a pad to kind of take the place of the wavetable, like sine wave, you know. Um, and then it kind of starts to feel like more of an atmosphere. And then I'll usually bring in drums, and I usually start with just like honestly, I start with hi-hats first, typically when I'm doing drums. And then I'll bring in a kick and like snare and all that, and I'll start to like mess with the groove. And then honestly, um bass is always last. I feel like bass for me is like I feel like for me it has to be done last because it has to fit with everything else that I've already done because it's really foundational to like the structure of the song. So I feel like I make the whole song before I add any bass, and then bass is usually the last thing I work on. And that's how Feel was actually. Um, I made Feel. I produced Feel. It was like almost entirely done, and I had this sub bass that I put in there, and I was really wasn't happy with it. And I reached out to Baltra, and he actually got back to me. Which Baltra, I'm a huge fan of Baltra, and so the fact that he got back to me and he was interested in working on that song, he was the one that worked on the bass and all that, and so like it really made that song just it took the energy up like another notch. I'm so like I'm so grateful that he did that. And my favorite part of Feel now is like the last section where he added this like bass arp. And I think in that section of the song, like it kind of strips everything back. It's like the last 30 seconds. And then you just hear that bass and it's just this like really cool arp groove. So I was glad that he came in and saved the bass on that one. That was really cool. But yeah, synth, drums, then usually bass. And
Mm,
also, like if I'm doing some kind of like vocal sample or vocal chop or working with a vocal artist, that will usually happen like after I have drums, you know?
okay. Yeah, you know what's funny? Like I interviewed another ambient artist, literally like the video released yesterday. And the same thing. Like, he was super like he's like, "Yeah, I don't like working with bass." You know? So it's like yeah, like I work bass, like he'll just slap like I not with him specifically, but I'll see a lot with like ambient artists specifically. Like they're like, "Yeah, I just slap a respace at the end of everything." Like whatever, dude. But like it's just like a random like the thing is like they slave like hours of their time just making like the pads and like the ambient like so perfect and crisp. High end's good, low end's good, and then the drums they work super hard, and then the bass are just like yeah, I just throw a respace, you know, like double saw wave and then a low filter, and they're like all right, bro, like this is it, man. You know, they're
Yeah, absolutely I do. And honestly, there are a lot of songs that I've released that really don't have any bass like at all, which I think is fine for the music I make. Like, I don't think is absolutely necessary. But for a track like Feel that I really wanna, like, play live and have there be some energy, it needs to have a bass. It needs to have, like, some kind of, you know,
Like low end,
oomph
yeah.
or something. I kind of think about it like there are some songs I make that are really just meant for, like, headphones or, like, you're just kind of, like, chilling around your house, and then I'm making some other songs where it's like, this is more of something that you'd hear in, like, a club,
Hmm.
So, it's always different. And for those, like, headphone records, I don't worry about bass too much. I always think about it, and I add some kind of bass frequency, but, like, it's never really the focal point for me. And I'm trying to actually get over that and start to make more songs that do more with the bass, and so I got the, Roland TB-03, which is like a replica of I think it's the 303 bass sequencer from, like,
Hmm.
the '90s, that, everyone would use for acid. And so I'm trying to, like, work with that and make some of those songs. I posted, like, a little snippet of something on my Instagram, like, a couple weeks ago, or actually probably, like, a month ago now, but, using the TB-03, and people seem to like it a little bit. So there might be some, like, little acid vibes coming soon, like, in some of the songs. I don't We'll see.
Yeah, I love acid music. It's so good. I don't know. I like that weird bouncy bass. And like it's funny because like those 303s, the 808s, and the 909s, they started off as like really crappy drum machines you'd find at like thrift stores, and people would buy them and just like make music with it. And like now they're just seen as like these vintage like amazing things that everybody like they're so sought after, and it's just like so funny to see like literally like 20, 30 years like how much of a shift there is in the demand for these products, like how it used to be before and then now.
Yeah, and I think, one day I wanna have, like, a really cool studio with a lot of those pieces of gear, but they're so expensive because 'cause they're so rare. Like,
Hmm.
they were only produced when they were produced, like, back in the '80s or '90s or whatever, and then there's only that many, like, in circulation now, and they have to be, like, maintained and everything, and so it'd be an honor to have, like, an actual 303,
Hmm.
in my studio one day,
Yeah,
but
I mean, hey man, like it's just sometimes you gotta work towards the thing slowly, slowly. But dude, the 303 is like definitely a dream machine.
it's so
Definitely
cool.
that's 100%. So you mentioned that you used Ableton, right? You used Ableton. So did you
Yeah.
start using Ableton, or did you start with like a different DAW before?
Well, my first DAW was actually Pro Tools when I was, like, 13, but I don't know if I can count that because I really didn't learn Pro Tools that much, but it came with, um I got actually, this is kind of the beginning of when I started to make music. This is like, I got an Axiom 49 MIDI controller, which is like a keyboard with 49 keys, and it came with Pro Tools. It was a gift, and I remember my uncle spent the whole day, like, setting up all the software and getting everything. I had to have, like, an iLok USB, like, it was so complicated, and I did not know what I was doing. My uncle helped me set it all up, and I used Pro Tools when I first started, because it came with this, like, keyboard, and so it was free, and all I would do back then is just, like, make, like, really simple, like, nothing good. It was all garbage, but, I would just do simple, like, MIDI stuff, and I was even doing, like, all the drums with the MIDI, like, just on the keys, like, just really simple stuff, um but then and I actually kind of, like, stopped. I did that, like, I was doing that casually for, like, maybe a year or 2. I was, like, 12 or 13, and then I kinda stopped. I was interested in other stuff. I played guitar, like, I played classical guitar, so I would do more of that. I joined, like, a rock band, and then, when I was 15, I got Ableton, which was a really big deal because, I wanted to start, like, making music more seriously, and so I got Ableton when I was 15, and I've just been using Ableton ever since. I can, um, I can use, like, Logic, one that I really can't use is FL. I don't know. And, like, all respect to people that use FL, but I've just never understood the workflow or anything with FL Studio. I know a lot of people really love it. A lot of people, like, learned on FL, but I've never been good with FL. I like Ableton,
Yeah,
so
I use Ableton too. I love Ableton. Like I don't know, FL Studio is specifically like every time I try to learn it, it's just like it just feels like wizardry. You know what I mean? I'm like, what is going on here? Like I don't know, Ableton just feels so right, and plus the stock plugins that come with Ableton are just so peak. the point where it's like I don't even want to like switch. You know what I mean? Like once
True.
you
The stock Ableton plugins get you so far.
dude, that's the thing. Like I feel like maybe like two or three VSTs are maybe needed. Like other than that, like if you know how to use the stock VSTs in Ableton, like you should be good, bro. And like that's just what I think.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you. In fact, I only ever use like 2 or 3 VSTs, like, when I'm producing. A lot of it is just all stock with
Hmm.
Ableton. And I
And
just got 12. I was using Ableton 10 until, like, 2 months ago.
yeah, I'm still on 11 like right now, but like I don't feel like switching because it's just that good still. You know, like
Yeah.
until I get like a reason to switch, I'm like, you know what? Like I'm still here. Like it's kind of like an iPhone. You know, it's like okay, like it's good, but like until like it's really outdated, then I'm gonna switch. You know?
Yeah. That's how I feel too.
Yeah, yeah. So actually, like I wanted to get back into the like VSTs. Like, what are your top three VSTs that you have right now?
Okay, top 3 VSTs, I would say, I think Serum is my number 1. Like, every song I think I've ever released this boy2000 has had Serum in it.
Hmm.
Because you can just get so many, first of all, you can, like, do your own sound design. So I learned, Serum, and it's just very easy for me to, like, tweak stuff. So I don't have to like go learn another synth or another like workflow or anything. So that's nice. But then there are so many amazing like user generated presets that it's really fun to just kind of like go around and experiment with those too. But like, yeah, every single song I think on Boy 2000 has some kind of Serum element. So Serum is number 1, but a lot of people use Serum. It's like very well known, So I'm not like changing the world by saying that. But um, and then I think another good synth though is Blue 3. I like that one. That's kind of fun for like if you're just looking for presets, like you're just like browsing presets, and then it has like it's kind of like expand. I think that's what it's called, expand 2, like where you can get a lot of different presets and you just kind of layer them and kind of mix them. Like that's kind of the workflow for Blue 3 as well. It's just a nice like preset combiner. But then you can also, of course, change all the different parameters and do whatever you want to do. But I like Blue 3. That's another good synth. I really love Synplant. Like that's a really cool one. Uh, like Synplant 2 can do all that like synthesis, like replication sort of thing. I think that's super cool. And then I like all the Valhalla reverbs. So like Valhalla Shimmer. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, Valhalla's amazing. Everything Valhalla ever made, like they've just never missed, dude. And then
Yeah.
obviously Serum is like so goated. I think that's like at this point standard, you know.
Mhm.
Like anything Xfer, you not even just Serum. Like OTT is really good as well. I
Yeah.
use that personally a lot in my music. Like I feel like the VSTs like are so like crucial to a lot of the music that I hear today. Even though like Ableton's so goaded, but like sometimes the VSTs like add that extra like the extra swag to it. You know, like I use the super massive Valhalla. Like that's also like a good reverb
Yeah.
that I like. Um but yeah, where do you personally stand on the usage of like drum samples and like loops?
I mean, I use them a lot, honestly. I'll use like samples and loops and whatever, I think I don't think there's anything wrong with that personally. I mean, um, I don't know. Do some people think there's anything wrong with using loops and stuff? I mean, I don't know if I'm as opposed to that as everyone else, but I think what I do always try to do is like not make it some kind of central element,
Mm.
like and if it is like a prominent element in the song, if you need to do something with it, like you need to do something unique. And I think a lot of the creativity is in the arrangement. So like I mean, honestly, I'll tend to gravitate towards like one shots for kick, snare, any kind of like percussion, like or like I guess perk element. I like that to be like kind of a one shot, but I'll sample drums all the time. I really never record anything with a microphone because I don't have like a studio or anything where I can even do that sort of thing. I think one day I'd love to do like record a ton of different drums with my friends, and maybe make some kind of sample pack that I can then like resample. I think that would be really fun. That's definitely a goal of mine. But yeah, so I'll usually do one shots for drums, snares, or sorry, for kicks and snares. And then I like to just kind of mess around with different top loops, like different hi-hats and stuff. I think that's pretty fun for using loops. I think it's honestly pretty foundational to a lot of the music I'll do. I'll have some top elements be one shots, like depending on what it is, but generally, I like to experiment with different grooves, like with top loop samples. I think that's really fun. But usually, I'll change them. I'll like chop them up. I'll like rearrange them. Sometimes I kind of turn them into like a one shot. Like I just take one element from the loop that I like. Um, but yeah, sampling everything and resampling, like it is a part of my process, and I think it's foundational to the sound, honestly, or at least what I'm trying to do. Um, yeah, I use them. I use them
Yeah.
quite a bit, but really just for drums.
Yeah, sampling I feel like is so important. Like I think like knowing how to like manipulate sound and like trying to make it your own is like I think that really like can make you stand out as an artist. And I feel like there's a very distinct difference in like let's say like just dragging and dropping like the amen break for example
Mhm.
versus like I don't know like changing it and manipulating it in the way that you want it to. You
Yeah.
make it sound the way that you want it to the whole time. So I think that's kind of like the big like differentiation in my opinion between like the different sounds.
Yeah, I think it's like 100% what you do with the sample that matters. It's not
Hmm.
really the sample, It's like
Exactly.
how is it implemented? How is it arranged? What did you do like in the mix? Did you chop it up? I don't know. I love sampling. I'll even record, like let's say I make some kind of demo. I'll bounce the demo and then I'll like resample it for like another song, I think that's fun. I just think the workflow of sampling is really inspiring to me. So
Hmm.
even sampling stuff I've already produced, like that's fun for me too.
Mm.
But I just love it.
Yeah, 100%. And like I feel like it creates like that sound that's very unique to that person, which actually leads into my following question. So, who do you see yourself like collaborating with next?
There are a lot of people I actually want to collaborate with. I have a big list. But I think one artist I just reached out to this morning is Quiet Light. She's coming out with a new album. I'm so excited to hear that album because she just released the first single. It's called Berlin. Like you need to check this song out. It's so good. So I reached out to her. I'd love to collaborate with her. Maybe she needs a remix or something. That'd be really fun. But like other than her, I've always wanted to work with Vegan. It'd be fun to work with Claire Lasan. Um, DJ Susie, I'd really love to work with DJ Susie. Like that's a very underrated artist in my opinion. She's got such amazing music. Um, so would love to work with DJ Susie. Sassy 009, huge. I'm a huge fan of her. Would love to work with her on literally anything. And then um, another artist I'd love to work with would be Placid Angles. I don't know if you know Placid Angles, but like, I mean, that's an artist that's hugely inspirational to me or for me. But I'd love to work with him if he'd be interested in that.
Yeah, I feel like it's super cool to hear like the different artists that inspire people like online today. Because like I feel like nowadays like there's so much content, there's so much music that's being pushed out. Like it's hard for like artists to I feel like stand out. So it's like whenever you see like other people stand out, you're like, okay, like there's definitely something unique with this person. Like they're definitely doing something against the grain, like kind of different, you know?
Mhm.
And that's like it's super cool to see stuff like that. So going on to that, what is your favorite and your least favorite song that you've made?
Okay, my favorite song, least favorite is gonna be hard to answer. That's kind
Yeah.
of a tough question, but I mean, favorite song is definitely Safe State. Like that's my favorite song I've ever made. Still to this day because it just came together so beautifully. I think it's the perfect example of like it's kind of minimalistic. There's not much going on, but I think every piece of that song has purpose. And every time I listen to it, I'm just really proud of everything, every element. I'm proud of the mix. I'm proud of the instrumentation. I'm proud of the arrangement. I think it really conveys like a very unique energy. And yeah, I'm just really proud of myself, honestly. I love Safe State. And then Wev took it and made the most insane, awesome, like acid remix that I love to DJ that live. And it's got such a cool energy. So definitely Safe State is my favorite.
Hmm.
And then I think least favorite is tough, but least favorite is either going to be maybe Zoom or honestly, I think maybe Cloud is maybe my least favorite that I've made. Um, but I still like them. I wouldn't release them if I didn't like them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Everything I have released, I like, but probably least favorite would be Cloud. I think reason being is there's just some small things I want to tweak in the mix. So maybe like one day I'll do some kind of like remixed, remastered version of Cloud that sounds a bit better. Um, I think it's still a good song, but maybe my least favorite, yeah. And then Zoom is just like, I don't know, Zoom is fun. And that's why I released it. I think it's a really fun track. So I like Zoom for that reason. But it's just maybe like not the song I'm like most proud of. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing crazy.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like I think with like whenever I hear songs that like I've made and I don't like anymore, I'm like there's always something about it that I'm just super nitpicky about, you know? Or whenever I ask artists, it's always like an old track where they're like, yeah, like I don't like the mix or I don't like how things sound. And it's just like and I kind of get it to a certain level because I'm like, yeah, I feel like I improve every single time I make a song. You know, like there's always something that I like noticed in the last song. I'm like, okay, like I have to change that now, you know, and then I change it. So it just kind of depends on how I feel like you see your old tracks versus how you see your tracks today, and like how you can distinguish them like side by side.
Mhm. Yeah, and at a certain point, like nothing is ever finished. I'm sure you
Yeah.
feel the same way. Like you could work on a song for the rest of your life, it would never be finished. At some point, you have to decide when it's done.
Hmm.
And there's always things you can change. There's literally something about every single song I've released that I would be like, you know what? If I had more time, I'd go back and change this. But you can't do that. Like you decide to release it, and then that's the state that the world receives it in.
Hmm.
And I think at that point, it's not really your song anymore. It's like the world's song, and people are gonna like listen to that and attach to that, and they're not gonna have the same opinions as you
Yeah.
about like what could be changed or tweaked. Like everyone's gonna have a different opinion on the song. So
Hmm.
um, yeah, I think that's definitely a skill that I think artists of any medium can work on is just like knowing when to call it a day, like when to publish something, when to call it finished, like at some point you have to be okay with saying that it's done.
Yeah, no, 100%, I agree. I think that's like, I think one artist's biggest weakness is, you know, releasing the music, you know, because they're like, it's not finished, it's not finished, it's not finished. And I feel like, especially if you want to like really move forward, especially in an industry like this, you have to like really push art out, you know, like I think that's super important.
I agree. Yeah, it's important to stay active, and I think just creatively it's important to move on to different projects too and like keep things interesting for yourself.
Hmm.
Because obviously like working on the same song for the rest of your life wouldn't be fun.
Oh,
You could do it,
100%.
but like it wouldn't be fun or rewarding, in my
So,
opinion.
yeah. So do you have a plan to release an album anytime soon?
I do. Yeah, I definitely do. I can't I can't say any more
Yeah.
than that, but yeah, I do.
Cool. Yeah, all right. Well, I'm excited to hear that. Um, hell yeah, dude. But I'm gonna go into this question after this. So it's how do you believe making music has changed you as a person?
That's an interesting question. I feel like making music specifically, I don't know, it made me more introspective for sure. I've always wanted to make music like since I was pretty young. And so I honestly feel like it's always been part of me in that way. Like I've always wanted to make music. I think what's had the most impact on me as a person actually with releasing music is just understanding that pretty much everyone you might listen to or look up to or like put on a big pedestal, like they really, I think no matter what level they're at, they are just a regular person. You know what I mean? Like they are just a normal person doing their thing, um, making music, even like in the industry, like I've been working with a record label and managers and all that. I think all that used to really intimidate me, but after working with them and like talking to other artists and talking to like managers and A&R and all that, everyone's just a regular person. And I think that what that taught me is like in anything, not just music, like people are just people, like I'm not as intimidated to go talk to somebody that like maybe like 5 or 6 years ago I would have been intimidated to go talk to them. Like I think that's a big thing that's actually changed for me in releasing music and interacting with everybody. Um, that's probably the biggest thing. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's what you were looking for, but that's definitely a big change for me, like a big mindset shift. I used to like feel like really separate from everybody that I would listen to or like look up to, but really I feel like more connected to everybody now, and like it's um, more of a community, and just like I'd say like a piece of advice from that is like you really can approach anybody, and who knows, like they might be super chill,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, at the end of the day, that's how I approached you, like it's just kind of like you just shoot a DM and just like fingers crossed and see what happens. And it's like
Mhm.
and like that's how I've landed I think literally all of my interviews, right? I just shoot a DM and fingers crossed and then sometimes they'll respond. Like that's just kind of how it is. And that's what I kind of love. It's just like at the end of the day, people are just people. I feel like literally like 6 months ago I would have I would have been super intimidated to like even reach out to anybody. Like I think in just like the last 6 months for me personally it's like such a huge difference. So it's like whenever I like DM people and I reach out and I'm like, okay, like, hey, like loved your music, been listening to you for like X amount of time, like I would love to have you on an interview. And they're like, I'm down. And like deep down I'm like, oh my god, right? Like but like I have to like lock in, you know what I mean? So it's just like so like at the end of the day, like whenever I see people that DM me and they're like, bro, like I love your interviews, like I'd like would love to be on it someday once I become more successful or something. And I'm like, you know what? Like in a way, like even though I'm not as big as I hope I would be personally, like I see myself in that, because I was there 6 months ago. Like I'm not even like like I wouldn't say I'm successful yet. Right? I wouldn't say I'm big yet, but like I have big plans, you know? So it's just like whenever like I see like an artist and I'm like, you know what, like this person has had like X amount of repertoire, has been producing really good music, and I've been listening to it consistently for a while. I'm like, I need to get this guy on my channel. And I feel like that like approach to people has changed so much to me. So I totally
Mhm.
get where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, um, it's never gonna be a bad thing to just reach out. Like you never know who's gonna reply. You never know who's gonna like interact with you and whatever. And then you make a good connection. Like Club 2000, I was just astounded that I was able to put together that project at all because there's so many different artists making remixes. Like it was really daunting, but I did a lot of outreach. But I was also really surprised with the response rate. Like a lot of the artists that I did reach out to that I wanted to work with got right back to me. Like you'll surprise yourself just by doing outreach. I think it's really important.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with like that specifically. Just honestly, just shoot DMs. Like you never know who's actually interested. And it's so crazy because it's like it's about like if you're an artist, it's about sound, right? Like people are looking for sound. They don't care about. I mean, there is some level to numbers. There is some level to that. Like that's definitely a plus. But at the end of the day, like as a producer, I think most people focus on sound. Like literally yesterday, one of my boys like came over to my house and he like showed me this like Hungarian trance artist with like 6 monthly listeners, and we listened to this guy's full album. Like it doesn't even matter. Like it was good. It was good music. You know what I mean? Like it's just at the end of the day, people are just looking for sound. Like it's just that's what people are gravitating towards. If I can hear a song, and I'm like, this just sounds good, like people are going to like it, right? Like I think that's just like how like things gravitate towards me.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
my final question for the music side of the interview is if there's any piece of advice that you would give like a new producer or an artist, what would that be?
Yeah, I would say biggest piece of advice for somebody who's starting out, like producing or releasing music, any kind of artist, really, not even just music, but any kind of artist. Um, I think first of all, I think try to take the pressure off of yourself because I think it's very easy to put a lot of pressure on yourself because as someone who's creative, making art, like you're someone with taste and you know what's good and what's bad and you know what you're trying to do. And I think just be patient with yourself when you make something that you don't like. It's okay. Like it's okay to make something that you don't like. 99% of what I make is total garbage and it never leaves my PC. Like it never escapes, never sees the light of day. That's okay because there's 1% that I'm really proud of and that I'll share with the world. And that's a really amazing, rewarding experience. Not everything you touch has to turn to gold. And so I think taking that pressure off of yourself allows you to create more freely and be like, okay, like, oh, I was in the studio for 4 hours today. I made total garbage. It's okay. Like, you can try again tomorrow. And that's my next piece of advice, which is just stay consistent with it, make it part of your routine. Um, but take breaks when you need. Like, there's a lot of stuff you got to handle in your life. And I think being creative is important. It's important to prioritize that, but don't let it become something that takes away from your life. It should always be something that's added to your life. It should be something that you want to do. But I think if you want to be really committed to improving, it's like anything else. You need to stay consistent and I think make it part of your schedule. And I think you need to show up on the days where maybe it's a little hard to show up, and have that determination and have that grit, but make sure that it's still adding something to your life and that it's something you want to do. I think if you put too much pressure on yourself to always do it, and you don't give yourself breaks, then you'll get so burnt out and it won't be worth it. It'll actually make you like miserable. So balancing that is extremely important. But stay consistent and just really have fun with it and don't overthink it and stop putting so much pressure on yourself. That's probably the main advice.
That's kind of fire. No, I agree with that. Like I think putting pressure on yourself, especially early on, will burn you out, and then it'll just like unmotivate you like super hard, right? Like
Yeah.
I think like it's just like it's better to do like a little bit at a time than do like a lot at once. It's kind of like hitting the gym, like you go. It's better to go every day for 30 minutes than to go like one day a week for like 6 hours, right? Like you need to give
Mhm.
your body some time to rest. Like it's just like there's a lot of stuff like that kind of plays into it. Like because showing up every day is like a lot harder than like showing up like once a week for a long period of time and then just grinding. Because like I feel like the grind set, like if you kind of do that, like you won't come to the quality of song that you want, you know? Like I feel like when it comes to like being consistent and showing up every day, at the end of the day it's gonna pay off, right? Like at some point it's gonna pay off. Because like you can fail for like 6 months, but like that next day after that, like something will hit. Especially if it's something worth quality, like it will hit. I think that's kind of something that I tell everybody that's like just getting started. You know?
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with that too. I think consistency is extremely important. And on the topic of like taking the pressure off, like if you need to take a break for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, just take a break, you know? Like I think be consistent when you want to be consistent and work and improve, and you will improve by being consistent. But if you want to take a break, take a break. Like in 2023, I only released one song the whole year. So I was doing other stuff. I was in college. I studied abroad. I was doing other stuff,
Hmm.
and so I didn't have as much time for the music. And I was doing all that other stuff with my life, and that was all great. I don't regret that. But I only released one song that year, and that's okay,
Hmm.
you know. And it was a song I was proud of, but um, I didn't have something coming out every month or anything.
Mm.
It's just different phases of life. It's okay to have different phases, and focus on other stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Like I'm in university right now. Like I'm doing a lot of these to like these interviews and stuff just to kind of get my rep up and meet everybody in the industry because once I graduate, I want to like go full force into this. So it's just like getting my foot in the door before I graduate would be like pretty sick. Like that's like literally the whole reason I'm doing this. But like I feel like low key, like I think a big advice is to finish school. Like I see this all the time where it's like this is a very small minority of people that like drop out of school and then like go pursue music and then actually like do something with it. Like it's super, I'm not gonna lie, it's super small. Like out of everybody that I've seen, especially like in my local scene, that like dropped out of like college or high school or something to pursue music, like honestly, like a lot of the successful artists that I've seen have gone to school or are going to school right now, like for music at least. Like
Mm.
it's like people with millions of streams, like still going to school. Like and at the end of the day, like if you're not interested in learning more, like you're just not gonna be ahead of the curve, in my opinion. So like I think that's super important.
I totally agree. 100%. You have to be like curious about learning new stuff. And honestly, that is one of the most inspiring things for me. If I learn some kind of new production technique, I always experiment with it. And sometimes it results in like a new song,
Hmm.
you know? So staying curious about that is really really good.
Yeah,
Um,
it does put you ahead.
and even studying stuff that has nothing to do with music, I think is really good for you. Like if you want to have
Yeah.
like um just like have a career that supports your life and
Yeah.
that you also, like a career you're interested in, and then you can always do music. I'll do music my whole life. It might not always be Boy 2000. It might be something else. It might be just for me and my family. Like I
Yeah.
might be some like old grandpa with a studio and like a little acoustic guitar, and I just make music for my family. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
um, it'll always have some aspect of, or it'll always be some aspect of my life.
Mhm.
But um, yeah, it's important to have other interests and other things as well. I think it makes you well-rounded.
I mean, yeah, like I'm studying finance, right? Like I'm not studying music, but uh
Same. I have a finance degree.
oh, sick. No way.
Yeah.
You do wait, you do business administration or
No, I just did finance and then I minored Italian.
Italian? Oh, is that where you went to
Mhm.
study abroad?
I did, yeah. So actually, after high school, I took a gap year and I did an exchange program in Italy, and then I went back to college in the U.S. and kept studying Italian while I was at college. So I ended up minoring.
That's kind of cool, actually. I don't think I've ever met anybody that studied Italian. Like,
It's really interesting. I love the department um, at our university. It's like really small, and I think it's really special. Like everyone's your friend,
yeah,
and you're all just studying Italian together.
dude, that's actually super dope. This is like the perfect segue. I'm gonna like low-key move into more like personal questions to get to know Boy 2000 or Grant more, right? Like that's the idea here. So, what is the best game made in your opinion?
That's a tough question. I am a gamer, but I'm pretty casual. I'm a pretty casual gamer. Oh, actually,
Mm.
maybe I'm like not so casual. I don't know. Define casual. But um, best game ever made. I'm a big fan of Portal. I think Portal is one of the best games ever made. But I was just recently obsessed with the Resident Evil 4 remake. So
Mm.
I love that game. That might be the best game ever made. Resident Evil 4 remake.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got Resident Evil 9, so I'm playing through that now, and it's so fun. Like it's just the perfect amount of like, it's kind of scary. Like it's really kind of like there's a lot of energy with it. Like it's a very energetic game, and then like you get the action pieces, and it's like one of the best action games ever. It's awesome. So Resident Evil 4, yeah. Let me see. I was a huge fan of Halo growing up. I think Halo Reach is maybe like one of my favorite games of all time. I really wish I could think more on my feet here because there are so many amazing games out there. Mirror's Edge, great game. Okay, like I post about that game for a reason. It's like one of my favorite games of all time. Mirror's Edge, and it is one of those games that came out in its specific time, and there will never be another game like that. Like because it's a product of the era. It's so perfect.
Yeah, like I feel like with a lot of these games that are coming out of that specific era, like there's like a very like let's nostalgic feel, especially with Resident Evil. I think the ninth one just came out. Like a bunch of my
Yeah.
friends have been playing that, but I don't know. Like for me, I think the best game is Minecraft. Like it's just because like you can play all of those games in Minecraft. It's just so goated. But yeah, like, I don't think I've heard of Evil's Edge, like um, or any of like I mean I know some of the games, like I've heard of them, but I've also never really been like a strong gamer. But like I feel like a lot of like that like nostalgic feel. There's a lot of always video game inspiration. So like I feel like there's a lot of ties.
Definitely, yeah. I think people resonate with that quite a bit.
Hmm. So what is your dream car?
Um, Okay, so I'm honestly not a huge car guy. I know like a little bit about cars. I'm not very handy. Um, but I think my dream car is like a Acura NSX, like maybe like 1993
Yeah, that's valid.
Acura NSX, like that's probably my dream car. What
Hmm.
about you?
Yeah, it's honestly it's funny. The same thing. Literally the same
Yeah?
car. Yeah, the Acura ones or the Honda ones too. Or like if we're
Dude.
going super fancy, the LFA. But the Acura NSX is definitely up there.
You see, like I don't even know like what's the LFA.
It's the Lexus car. Like it's super. It's their. I think it's their only super car, and it's like actually
Okay.
the best car in the world. Like in my opinion, like it's
I'll have
just
to look it up.
and like Yamaha designed the acoustics in the car. So like, if you're a
Oh,
sound nerd, like it's pretty cool.
that sounds really cool. LFA? I'll look it
Yeah,
up.
you should. Okay, and then the next question I have is if you could move to any country in the world, which would it be and why?
Honestly, it would probably be Italy just because I already know the language and have friends over there, low key, have like family over there. Not really like actual blood related family, but I have like host families that I could hang out with. Um, Probably Italy. I like the culture around food over there. And then I don't know, like I just have a lot of fun in Italy and I feel pretty comfortable there. Probably Italy. Um, yeah. What about you?
I would love to go like, that's a good question. Probably like Lebanon. I don't know, or Syria
Yeah.
or something. But uh, like that would be like where I would probably go. Like if I were to move anywhere else, or New Zealand. I feel like they're out of the news. You know, that would be kind of nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you
That's
never
a
hear
super
anything
remote
bad.
place.
Yeah, you never hear anything bad coming from New Zealand.
Yeah.
Where would you
I
go
think
in
I might be
Italy?
visiting there. I might go there this year, actually. I'm pretty excited.
Really? Yeah, New Zealand is very chill. Like I think I had a few of my friends move out there actually, and I'm like, you know what? Like, live your best life. Like, live under the radar. Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
You know.
It
Have you only
seems great.
been to Rome, or have you been to like Tuscany, like Venice? Like, where have you been?
Oh, I've actually only been in Rome for like one day. When I was living there, I was in Lombardy, which is like the northern region
Oh, I
or one of the
see.
northern regions. Yeah, which is like I was going to school in a city called Pavia, and then I lived in an even smaller town outside of Pavia, and Pavia is like 30 minutes south of Milan.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never been to Italy, but I've been to France and Germany, but I've never been to Italy. Like Italy's definitely been on my like bucket list, especially the Amalfi Coast. Like that's definitely something I want to check
Mm.
out.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Hey, you should definitely go to Italy. It's one of the countries like there's a lot of every city's got some different amazing unique thing about it.
Yeah, of
And
course.
northern Italy, very different from southern Italy. It's very interesting. There's a lot of difference. It almost feels like two different countries.
hmm Yeah, no, a lot of Italians tell me the same thing too. You know, because also northern Italy is pretty cold, whereas southern Italy is very hot. Like it's just like it's super interesting to like see like that difference. All right,
Yeah.
and then the final question I have for you is, what is the best food of all time?
Best food of all time is definitely my mom's homemade pesto recipe. It's just like so good. It's so good. I can share it with you. I've got it like saved on my phone, but we just every summer we grow basil and then we harvest it throughout the summer and then she'll make homemade pesto with it
hmm
among other things, but the homemade pesto is like particularly amazing. And then like any excess pesto we have, we freeze into little ice cubes, and then I unfreeze it like for the remainder of the winter. Like I have homemade pesto fresh throughout the whole like fall and winter basically because we make so much of it during the summer.
Mm.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Dude, that's
Definitely my favorite.
sick. Yeah, like I make a lot of actually I do make pesto at home too. I'll add spinach too. Like I'll add like what's my
Oh
recipe?
yeah,
Like I put spinach, basil, like olive oil, like salt, and then pine nuts, and then I'll just grind it up, and
yeah,
then
bro.
it works.
You should add pistachios
Mm.
to the pesto.
Yeah, pistachios are goated, bro. Like they're so
Yeah.
good. But yeah, I think that's all I have to ask for you today, bro.
All right, cool. Well, thank you for the interview. I had a great time speaking with you.
Yeah, of course, you as well, man.